Okay, welcome back. If you're watching this video, you've made it through 1 week of Saxom math so far. Congratulations. Let's get on to week number 2. This is section 1, lesson 6, converting measures. And here we go. Here are your steps. Again, you know what to do. Pause the video and write them all down right as I'm talking. Doesn't matter, however you want to get them. Okay. Step 1 is to name the two units that are in the problem, then set up a proportion. Okay, we've done a lot with finding percentages so far. This is going to be kind of the same. 2 units might be like grams and kilograms, or feet and miles, or feet and yards, or something like that. Okay, step 2 is to fill in the correct conversion. In your Saxom book, you're going to have a conversion chart. You'll need to know like how many feet are in a yard, okay, or how many inches are in a foot, things like that. Number 3 is to fill in the measurement from the problem. After you fill in the conversion, you're going to fill in what you're given from the problem. Okay, step 4 is to draw a loop around the two diagonal numbers, and then you multiply the numbers in the loop and then divide by the number outside the loop. Okay, and we will talk about that. Let's go ahead and get to our first example. Okay, make sure up at the top you write objective 1 down is to convert between different units of measurement. Got your steps again up here. Let's dive into the example. It says Reggie took 36 big steps to walk the length of the hallway. If each big step was about a yard, then the hallway was about how many feet long? Okay, so again, let's circle what we know. We know that Reggie took 36 big steps. Okay, actually let me erase that so we can see that it's 36 and not just 6. So he took 36 big steps. Each big step was about a yard. That is important. And then we want to underline what we want to know. We want to know how many feet long was the hallway. Okay, so step 1 is to name the two units in the problem and then set a proportion. Well, my two units that I have, okay, here's one. We got yards, and then we've got feet. So we need to put yards and feet. Okay, set them up like I did, where it's kind of like a fraction. I got yards on top and feet on bottom. Okay? Then we're going to set up a proportion. A proportion is two fractions that need to be equal to each other. Okay? So here's our initial setup right here. We got my labels, my two units of measure, and I got my proportion all set up. Now on this side of the proportion, on the left here, we need to fill in the correct conversion. Okay? Well, we need to know how many feet are in a yard, or how many yards are in a feet. Okay, so think about that. How many feet are in 1 yard? And we should know that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. Okay, so that's step 2 right here. Fill in the correct conversion. That's what this is. 1 yard is the same as 3 feet. Then I need to fill in the measurement from the problem. Okay, so I'm looking at the number they give me in the problem. This says 36 big steps. So if he took 36 big steps, and each step was about a yard, how many yards did he walk then? Well, 36 steps times 1 yard for each step is 36 yards. And that needs to go up here because on top we've got yards and yards, so my 36 yards should go on top up here. Then my question's asking me how many feet. I don't know that, so I'm going to put a question mark there. Okay? Now, you've done these before. I've asked you to do these when we solve for percentages. It's the same thing. So step 4 is you're going to draw a loop around the two diagonal numbers. I'm going to change my color here, and we're going to loop around the two numbers that are diagonal. Okay, that's step 4. Step 5 says we multiply the numbers in the loop and then divide by the number outside the loop. So I'm going to multiply 36 times 3. Well, if I do that, 36 times 3, 6 times 3 is 18, and I carry my 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. That's 108. Okay? Then I have to divide by the number outside the loop. So I'm going to take 108 and divide it by 1. And 108 divided by 1 is just 108. Okay? Now, to find your label, you can do this one of two ways. Okay? My label needs to be the same thing they're asking me about. So it was how many feet. So my label should be feet. Okay? And you can look at where your question mark was. My question mark was down here. That's in the same row as feet. Okay, so that should match up. My question mark's in the same row as feet, so my label needs to be feet. So 108 feet is how long the hallway was. Okay, so you've done these before, so this shouldn't be too bad. Let's go to another example. Okay, here's another example. Example 2 says the 5,000 meter run is an Olympic event. How many kilometers is 5,000 meters? So again, circle what we know, underline what we want to find out. Okay, we know that's a 5,000 meter run. That's all we know. And then we want to know how many kilometers is that. So, step 2, fill in the correct, step 1 still. Still gotta be doing step 1. It says name the 2 units in the problem, then set up a proportion. Well, my units are meters and kilometers. Then I'm going to set up my proportion with my 2 fractions. Okay? Fill in the correct conversions. We need to think about how do meters and kilometers relate to each other. Well, if you know that conversion, or you can look it up, there are 1,000 meters for every 1 kilometer. Okay? Step 3, fill in the measurement from the problem. Well, the measurement they give me is 5,000 meters, so I need to make sure I put that on the same level as the meters, so it's going to go on top here. 5,000 meters. Again, if I look across here, these should all be the same unit. Meters, meters, meters. Down here are kilometers and kilometers. And then we want to know how many kilometers. So I'm going to put my question mark here. Alright. Switching to red again. We make, step 4, make our loop around the 2 numbers we know. Okay? And step 5, we are going to multiply the numbers that are in the loop. 5,000 times 1 is just 5,000. Then I'm going to divide by the number outside the loop. So I'm going to take 5,000 divided by 1,000. Okay? And 5,000 divided by 1,000 is just 5. Again, my label should answer the question here. It's how many kilometers. And it should also be on the same level as my question mark. The same level of my question mark is kilometers. So it's 5 kilometers. Okay? And let's do one last example. Okay, and here's the last example. Okay, we've got James weighed 8 pounds and 10 ounces at birth. How many ounces did James weigh? Okay, so important stuff. We know that he weighed, oops, let me make that so it's not white. He weighed 8 pounds and 10 ounces at birth. And we want to know how many ounces did James weigh. Alright, so first thing, fill in the 2 units. We've got ounces and pounds. Those are the abbreviations. OZ for ounces, LB for pounds. Then set up your proportion. Okay, fill in the correct conversion. You gotta look this up. If you don't know it, then that's fine. But the correct conversion is there are 16 ounces for every 1 pound. Okay? Then fill in the measurement from the problem. Now in the problem, the measurement we fill in is always what we have circled. Okay? But here's the problem. I've got 8 pounds and 10 ounces. Well, I can't put them both up here because they're not both ounces. And I can't put them both down here because they're not both pounds. Okay? So let's think about where what we don't know goes. We want to know how many ounces did James weigh. So I'm going to go ahead and put my question mark on the ounces line. Okay? So that means down here on the bottom, I've got to put pounds. Well, we can think of this as 8 pounds plus 10 ounces. Okay? So I've got to take this 8 pounds and convert it into ounces. So I'm going to put that on the bottom down there. So I'm going to put 8 pounds down here. Okay? Because I've got to figure out how many ounces are in 8 pounds. So I'm going to draw my little loop-de-loop. I'm going to take 16 times 8, because I know we multiply what's in the loop. 6 times 8 is 48. 8 times, or I'm going to carry my 4, sorry. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 4 is 12. So that's 128. Then I divide by the outside number, divide by 1, it's still 128 ounces. Okay? Now think about it though, 128 ounces was this 8 pounds. Okay? So I know that 8 pounds is 128 ounces. That's what I found out. But remember, James weighed 8 pounds plus 10 ounces. So he doesn't just weigh 8 pounds. He weighs 10 ounces more than that. So I've got to add on 10 more ounces. Okay? So 128 ounces plus that 10 ounces is 138 ounces. So James weighs 8 pounds, or 128 ounces, plus 10 more ounces. And there's my answer, 138 ounces. If you got any questions, let me know. Otherwise, happy homeworking.